being on that same trip in London for what could be a really big opportunity for Kentucky. And the CEO looked at me and said, the governor of Virginia was sitting in that chair just a week ago. We got to make sure we're out there. We got to make sure we're marketing Kentucky. We have to make sure we're in the game. And given that we are number 3 in the country for foreign direct investment per capita when it comes to jobs, and we're global, we got to make sure we're out there talking to our global partners. This week, we're also celebrating some good news for Louisville. It was announced yesterday the iconic Humana building will be transformed into a 1,000-room hotel with over 100,000 square feet of meeting space and spaces for restaurants and bars. This is a $600 to $700 million project for Louisville, and it's going to be done by the Poe companies. That's the team that also did Hotel Distill and Moxie Louisville downtown. The plan's still in the design stage, and there is more to be worked out. But it is a promising development that will breathe new life into the downtown area for the city and for our state. Even better, it'll support jobs, boost our record-breaking tourism industry, and fuel our economy. I want to congratulate all involved on this exciting announcement. We look forward to more news as it breaks. And speaking of good jobs and good news, Kentucky released our county unemployment data for December 2025 this morning. Unemployment rates fell for all 120 counties between December 2024 and December 2025. That is great news. It means more of the good jobs we're creating are being filled. It means our workforce is strong, and it means more of our families can bring home a paycheck and put food on the table. We are reigniting the American dream starting right here in Kentucky. The dream starts with a job, and I'm proud to say no administration has created more. And these aren't just any jobs. We've recruited the best jobs in our history with the highest 3-year average for new wages, and last year's average incentivized wage was nearly $30 an hour. That means folks can pay their bills at the end of the month. They can afford gas and groceries. They can even start planning that family vacation that they went on as kids. These are the numbers that we really want to see. These are the results that we look for, and we are excited to deliver. All right, let's do a weather update as we are still dealing with snow and ice. We've had a tough winter season. During the winter storm, which took place primarily between January 23rd and January 26th, but its effects persist even today, areas in Kentucky received up to 9 inches in snow. We also received significant ice accumulation, which became our biggest threat. It was dangerously cold during this time. In fact, at times, even 10 to 30 minutes outside could result in frostbite or hypothermia. Over the entire winter season, areas have received a total of up to 26 inches of snow. And there's potential for more snow tomorrow. It should be probably a dusting, 1 inch or less, but this can impact our roadways, and folks need to be aware. Thankfully, we were prepared for the winter storm, and the impact could have been much worse. But we do have more tough news today, as the Department of Public Health was able to confirm more deaths due to the winter storm. I'm sad to share that since our last report on Monday, our fatality numbers increased to 22. The new additions include a 92-year-old man from Hart County, a 69-year-old woman from Madison County, a 59-year-old man from Hardin County, a 77-year-old man from Grayson County, a 79-year-old woman from Floyd County, and a 68-year-old man from Leslie County. Let's pray for the families of all these lost Kentuckians, as well as everyone else that's been lost during this storm. Let's make sure we wrap our arms around them and help them through this tough time. Power outage numbers now down to 604. That is full power across the state. On any given day, we'd see that number or larger. So to our utilities, to all the line men and line women that have been out there working, thank you. This was a huge amount of ice in part of our state, a large amount of snow in other parts of our state, and to get it up and running, I mean, our height was 73,590. I want to thank everybody that worked so hard since, Sunday, January 25th, when we had 73,590 outages to get them down to what is statistically, zero when we look at our map, but at the moment, 604. We've had some issues with water. That's because of main breaks and other pipe issues with how cold it's been. 12,154 service connections across Kentucky are under a boil water advisory, and 13 systems have limited operations throughout the state. Our warming centers were so important during this event. At one point, they sheltered over 900 Kentuckians. I want to thank the Red Cross that operated a lot of them. There are still 85 shelters set up across the Commonwealth. It was really cold this morning. That's why these shelters are so important. The map you're seeing now shows all locations. This site is linked at kyem.ky.gov. Kentucky State Police, over the course of this event, has received 28,757 calls for service related to the winter storm and winter weather. That's again since Friday, January 23rd. They conducted just under 2,000 wellness checks and responded to 1,175 requests for motor assistance over the past 2 weeks. So thank you to the Kentucky State Police and all local law enforcement and first responders that have been working tirelessly during this period. State highway crews have worked really hard to keep our roads safe. I'm proud of what they've done on our state roads and how our interstates were up and navigable pretty quickly. Under our state of emergency, our transportation crews also helped with non-state roads. This was to help local line workers restore power more quickly. Since Friday, January 23rd, our snowplows and contracted snowplow crews have driven over 1 million miles for storm response. That includes for weather efforts this past week. We still are going to get some flurries in some areas on top of cold temperatures. Know that can cause black ice in areas as well as slush. Folks should still use caution when driving. Go slow, focus on the roads, put your phone down, and make sure you're doing everything you can to protect the drivers around you. All right, Kentucky, we've also got more good news on our progress to provide safe medical cannabis to eligible Kentuckians. Today, the Office of Medical Cannabis sent a letter to legislative leadership recommending that the General Assembly expand Kentucky's list of qualifying medical conditions in the 2026 regular session. The recommendations include serious conditions like ALS, Parkinson's, Crohn's disease, sickle cell anemia, fibromyalgia, glaucoma, and terminal illnesses, among others. In most other states that have a medical marijuana program, these are conditions that are covered, and they are conditions that our Board of Physicians and Advisors have recommended as proper. Expanding the list could help provide relief to approximately 430,000 Kentuckians that currently don't have access but are dealing with these challenges. We're being intentional about how we build out this program for those in need, while also making great progress to increase access to those already eligible. Today, we have 510 registered practitioners and over 18,500 approved cardholders, and those numbers continue to grow. We also continue to see steady progress on the business side of the rollout. Kentucky now has 5 cultivators, that's the groups that grow the plant, 2 safety compliance facilities, making sure that the levels are appropriate, 1 processor, those are the ones that can turn it into other products like gummies, and 7 dispensaries, which is where people that have the card that are eligible under the law can purchase medical marijuana. We expect that momentum to continue this month with 2 more processors, 2 more dispensaries, and 1 more cultivator that are scheduled for inspection. As the supply chain expands, patients are starting to see more options come online, so we can announce that gummies are now on the market in Kentucky. And that progress is showing up in communities across Kentucky. This past Saturday, Kentucky Alternative Care celebrated its grand opening in Jefferson County. And this coming Sunday, Bluegrass Canacare in Boone County will host a ribbon cutting at 9:30 a.m., followed by a grand opening at 10 a.m. The most current list of what's open, along with information on how to apply for a medical cannabis card, is available at the website on the screen, kymedcan.ky.gov. Next up, Lieutenant Governor Jacqueline Coleman is joining us to give 2 updates, including our continued work to make pre-K for all a reality in Kentucky.
Well, good afternoon. As Governor Beshear stated, our administration has secured a record amount of investment and new jobs. Over the past 6 years, we've become an economic powerhouse, more than doubling Kentucky's previous investment record with over $45 billion in new investment. Most importantly for our families, this has created over 68,000 new jobs. But with success comes responsibility, because we want these wins to continue for generations to come. We want to make sure that our workforce pipeline remains strong, that our kids are ready and able to fill the jobs that we're creating. And above all, we want to make sure that our fellow Kentuckians are reaping the benefits of the state's success. Through these jobs, they can live the lives that they deserve. And right now, Kentucky is in the middle of a budget session. And the governor's proposed budget includes the single most effective way that we can move Kentucky forward, and that is by funding pre-K for all. Right now, more than half of Kentucky's kids are showing up to kindergarten already behind. They come to school with fewer vocabulary words. Some don't know their colors, and some aren't even potty trained yet. As a former high school teacher, I can tell you that the kids who show up to kindergarten behind tend to stay behind throughout school. Sadly, there are Kentucky parents that cannot afford pre-K. So many of our neighbors want to work, but simply can't afford childcare. The lack of pre-K access hurts our businesses and our families, and even more, it hurts our kids. Over time, pre-K is projected to grow Kentucky's workforce by up to 70,000 people. And studies show that for every dollar invested in pre-K, we get $10 cycled through our economy. It's clear, Kentucky needs pre-K for all. And I know that so many agree. 46 local and regional chambers of commerce have endorsed pre-K for all. We've also had 63 county judge executives and 34 mayors endorse pre-K for all. The Kentucky Association of School Administrators, which represents 3,300 education leaders across the Commonwealth, have also spoken out and urged the General Assembly to fund pre-K. These folks know the key to kids succeeding in school is early, strong starts, and pre-K for all can provide that for every Kentucky child. Pre-K for All also received a full endorsement from the Kentucky Association of School Superintendents. And over 65,000 Kentuckians have written to their state legislators asking them to support expanding pre-K access. And today, we are sharing that over 90 school superintendents support pre-K for all. And we have a few of those leaders who have joined us today. With us, we have Dr. Dustin Howard from Clark County Schools, Dr. Lori Jones, the Woodford County Superintendent, Mark Kopp, Franklin County Superintendent, and Sherry Satterley, Frankfort Independent Superintendent. And so I'm going to let them say a few words about why they value pre-K and why they want to see it created as a possibility for every child in Kentucky. Dustin?
Thank you. Good afternoon. It's a great honor and privilege to be able to speak about an initiative that will truly help the Commonwealth grow greatness. In Clark County, Winchester, Kentucky, Win City, we are focused on connecting the community and the district as one to grow greatness in all of our students. And all means all, including our little learners, our little cards, as we call them in Winchester. In Clark County, we've been on this journey because we noticed we were spending a whole lot of time focused on closing gaps, when we put our money where our mouth is, we should be eliminating gaps before our kindergarten students ever walk in the door. Because in Clark, we were less than 50% kindergarten ready. That's just not good enough. So we continue to invest in resources like opening up our own daycare so we grow greatness from 6 weeks to graduation. We've also invested in a state-of-the-art multi-million-dollar preschool facility where I can proudly say next year we will be offering a preschool slot for every 4-year-old in Clark County, Kentucky. Greatness is not a journey, a destination, it's a journey. We hope to continue this journey with pre-K for all of our little learners in the Commonwealth. Again, thank you so much for the opportunity. In Clark County, we end with go Cards, so I'm going to do that too. Go Cards.
Good afternoon. My name is Mark Kopp. I'm the superintendent of Franklin County Schools here in Frankfort, and I'm thrilled to be here and honored to be asked to speak about the importance of pre-K. During my 32 years as an educator and my 9 years as a superintendent, every single piece of data shows the importance of kids being ready to go when they get to kindergarten. It's academic readiness, it's social, emotional, behavioral, and of course behavioral improvement goes along with that. Those three things are incredibly important. When our kindergarten students are ready to go, they, as Dustin was saying just a minute ago, we don't have to worry about the gap that we would have. As I've known to say sometimes, education is sometimes known as a marathon, the whole K through 12. So why on earth wouldn't we as Kentuckians start with pre-K? And why wouldn't we give our students a head start on that marathon, on that journey? Give them everything that they can to be successful. I also believe that it's our moral obligation. My mom, God rest her soul, was a first grade teacher for 32 years. And beyond her faith and her family, her passion was teaching kids how to read. And she often talked to me about the importance of kids, obviously parents reading to children and getting that information into them prior to them getting into first grade. So we have an opportunity and an obligation to provide this opportunity for every single Kentuckian. Let's come together and do it. This shouldn't be a political fight. Let's make sure that we do what's best for kids. Thank you so much.
I'm Lori Jones, and I am with Woodford County Schools, and I'm a new superintendent this year. And I wanted to mention that one of the first things that our workforce development council in Woodford County said to me is the number one need that we need you to work on is pre-K for all. And so I took that charge, and I've been very diligent to pursue any options that would give us the opportunity to expand and have pre-K for all. We need it desperately because it's the single most effective way to ensure a child arrives in kindergarten ready to learn. Those first 5 years of life are critical, they're crucial for brain development, as we all know. And if a student is behind on day one, we spend years playing catch up. Programs like Pre-K for All help all students have a baseline of literary, math, and social emotional skills when they start school. This lets teachers spend less time on remediation and more time on teaching and enrichment. And over time, we know this improved readiness goes through the whole K-12 system with better achievement scores and high school graduation rates down the line. We want every student to be successful, so working with the General Assembly, let's make the decision to get this done and make Pre-K for All happen. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Kentucky. My name is Sherry Satterley, and I am the superintendent of the Frankfort Independent Schools, situated right here in the capital of our Commonwealth. That said, I stand here today in two capacities. First, as a superintendent who sees the readiness gap every August when new faces walk through our elementary doors, and second, as a mother who has lived the stark reality of our current fragmented child care system. I am proud to voice my full support for Governor Beshear's Pre-K for All initiative. This isn't just a policy proposal, it is a fundamental investment in the brain power of Kentucky's future. My support for this initiative is rooted in my very own living room. I have two children, and their paths to kindergarten could not have been more different. Our oldest son, now 13, did not qualify for public pre-K, nor were there any tuition seats available at that time. We were fortunate enough to live above the poverty line and to be able to afford a private pre-K. Others are not that fortunate. We had a structured curriculum and socialization, and when he entered kindergarten, he was ahead of the curve. But to be honest, the tuition, even for us, was a second mortgage. It was a luxury, and in a state as great as Kentucky, opportunity should never be a luxury. On the other hand, our younger son, now 7 and in the second grade, attended the public pre-K program in my district, Frankfort Independent. The educators he had were just as, if not more, phenomenal than the ones my oldest experienced in private pre-K, and the environment was nurturing. I would argue, not even argue, I would stand firm that our youngest son had a much better pre-K experience in a public setting than our older son did in a private setting. Both of my children are thriving at my very own Second Street School, but they shouldn't have been the lucky ones. Access to quality early education should be a guarantee for every Kentucky family, regardless of their zip code or their paycheck. As an administrator, I see the data. Children who attend high-quality pre-K are more likely to read at grade level by the third grade, less likely to require costly special education interventions later on, and are better equipped with the social-emotional skills needed to navigate a modern classroom. But I also see firsthand every day the hurdles those programs face: limited slots, wait lists, and the constant fear of funding shifts. When we don't fund pre-K, we aren't saving money. We are simply backloading the cost into our remedial programs and social services 10 years down the line. Governor Beshear's plan recognizes that the education state starts at birth, not age 5. It levels the playing field so that when our teachers say, "Welcome to kindergarten," every child is standing on the same starting line. It's time to stop talking about the importance of those first 2,000 days from birth to age 5 and start funding them. Let's get this done for our students, our parents, and our future in Kentucky. Thank you.
So you've heard it from the leaders yourselves. Kentuckians, business leaders, educators, they all have one thing in common, and it's that they want pre-K for all. In fact, we found that 87% of Kentuckians support pre-K for all 4-year-olds in Kentucky. I'm not sure that 87% of the population agrees on anything, so that's impressive. But this is long overdue. So please, call your representatives, visit prekforall.ky.gov, and write them directly. Our success depends on this, and we can get this done together. So let's make pre-K for all a reality for every Kentucky child. Thank you all so much. Next up, we have the Kentucky State Police Cadet Class 106. Last week, I was honored to join the Kentucky State Police to celebrate the graduation of Cadet Class 106 from the agency's training academy, marking the end of several months of training and preparation. These 32 troopers reported to the academy in August and successfully completed 24 weeks of intensive academic instruction and practical training, designed to help prepare them for the challenges of modern law enforcement. Just prior to the graduation ceremony, I was able to meet privately with the cadets, where I was able to share with them personally mine and this administration's appreciation for their commitment to becoming part of the Kentucky State Police, while acknowledging the important role that they serve across the Commonwealth. It was an honor to have the time to thank them on behalf of Team Kentucky. In true KSP fashion, each recruit went above and beyond in the academy. 12 of our new troopers earned their associate's degree from the Bluegrass Community and Technical College while at the academy. As an educator, myself, I know the long hours of studying required to earn this degree, and doing so while they also manage their academy training is really impressive. To each of our new troopers, whether you're from Kentucky or Illinois or as far away as Uganda, thank you for making the Commonwealth your home and for giving back in the most noble way. Your work in not only protecting the Commonwealth, but building trust in law enforcement and supporting your communities in times of need is honorable, and we all owe you a debt of gratitude. To our 32 new troopers and the entire Kentucky State Police, thank you for answering the call, and thank you for helping us build a safer Kentucky. And now I have the honor of bringing up our First Lady to share with us 2 important ways that Kentuckians can help their neighbors in this coming week. First Lady? And probably winning?
Probably winning. Hello, everybody. Thank you all for those very impassioned and powerful words. Andy and I were over there saying we got to take this show on the road because hearing it from the people on the ground who know the best it's very powerful, so thank you. All right, last month I spoke at a Team Kentucky update about a blood shortage reported by the Kentucky Blood Center following the holiday season. Unfortunately, the major winter storm last week has also impacted their supply. Specifically, type A negative and O negative are in very low supply. Andy and I are inviting all state employees as well as the Frankfort community to join us next Thursday, February 12th, to donate blood and to help save lives. All you need to do is visit governor.ky.gov/giveblood, and you'll see the links where you can sign up. If you don't live in Frankfort, you can still take part in this life-saving mission. Our site also includes a link where anyone in the United States can find and sign up for a blood drive in their community. These acts of kindness are how we show love and take care of each other. Whether it's a health emergency, cancer treatments, or following a natural disaster like so many of our communities have faced, these donations truly make a difference. I also want to talk about Shop and Share. So this Saturday, February 7th, is our annual Shop and Share event. It's a one-day donation drive to provide Kentucky's regional domestic violence shelters with much-needed items. I'm proud to once again partner with Zero V and Kroger for this event every year. As First Lady, my number one goal is to make our Commonwealth a safer place for all of our families. In Kentucky, more than 45% of women and 35% of men experience some form of domestic violence in their lifetime. These are not just numbers. They are our neighbors, they are our friends, they are our family from every community in our state. Our faith teaches us that we are called to protect the most vulnerable. Organizations like Zero V and each of our regional domestic violence shelters are there for these Kentuckians as they begin to heal and move forward. In 2025, Kentucky's domestic violence shelters housed more than 2,300 people. And we know there are many, many more people out there who needed those shelters who weren't able to get there. Through Shop and Share, we can ensure these survivors and their families, when they arrive at their shelters, have the everyday necessities they need. Because we know more often than not, people fleeing for their lives have little more than the clothes on their backs. In 2025, Shop and Share raised nearly $350,000 in in-kind and cash donations. Since the first event that happened in 2008, organized by Andy's mom, former First Lady Jane Beshear, more than $6 million has been donated to help the lives of thousands of survivors. This year, I visited Greenhouse 17, one of Kentucky's regional domestic violence shelters. Darlene, the executive director there, told me that even though Shop and Share is a one-day drive, the donations such as food, diapers, toothpaste, and so many more last the shelters an entire year. That means that an entire year of men, women, and children who come through those doors have the supplies that they need in some of their worst hours. It is easy to get involved with Shop and Share this Saturday. While you're shopping, you can get what you need, pick up a few extra items to share with your local domestic violence shelters. After you check out, there will be a volunteer or a basket where you can place your items and go about your day. Volunteers will be on site to help. They'll have lists of supplies of what are most needed. These volunteers, we owe them a huge thank you, especially to the Girl Scouts who have also stepped up time and time again to help volunteer. This year, you have more options than ever. Kroger has been our key partner for this event for many years, and they're stepping up again. We also have many other stores participating in 2026, including some Food City, IGA, Save-A-Lot, Family Dollar, Pennington's Food Fair, and Walmart locations, as well as local grocery stores. You can find the full list of participating stores at the website on the screen, zerov.org/shop-and-share. Most locations will be shopping hours of 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. where there will be a volunteer ready to take your items. Every small action of kindness can make a difference in someone's life. A survivor has shared with me that through donations like these, she received gift cards that she could use for food and gas, which helped her get away from her abuser. That small act of kindness by somebody, a small amount on a gift card, made the difference possibly between her being alive and not. Truly shows that every action, every donation, no matter how big or small, can mean the world to someone in need. There are so many stories like this one. Together, we can make sure survivors have the resources that they need to heal. Men, women, and children, people who may be starting over, who likely could not bring much more with them than the clothes on their backs when they arrive at a shelter. These are the people who we can help make a difference in their life. To the survivors who might be listening, I want you to know that there is help. You are brave. Your courage will get you and your family on to the next phase of your life. Please know you are more than the worst moments of your life, and we are here to support you. Let's do what we do best in Kentucky, support our neighbors. Let's make sure that this is the most successful Shop and Share yet. I know Team Kentucky can do it. And now I will invite Dr. Stack up to the podium.
Wish I could be as chill as Winnie at work. So thank you, First Lady, and good afternoon, Team Kentucky. During the second year of the Our Healthy Kentucky Home campaign, we continue to promote simple, attainable goals that help everyone move toward better health and wellness. By eating at least 2 servings of fruits or vegetables every day, exercising for at least 30 minutes 3 times per week, and engaging with others to stay socially connected. For our youngest Kentuckians, these health goals establish a strong foundation for a long, healthy, productive life. Every spoonful of nutritious foods supports growing bodies and curious minds. Every stretch, crawl, and playful step builds strength and confidence. Every smile, story, and shared moment of connection helps children feel safe, seen, and loved. At its core, the Our Healthy Kentucky Home Initiative helps families create everyday moments of health and connection. When small, healthy choices happen consistently as part of a regular routine, they don't just improve today, they can positively shape a child's future. Families don't have to do this alone. Across Kentucky, there are supportive programs that engage parents and caregivers, offering guidance, encouragement, and resources during these crucial early years. HANDS, or the Health Access Nurturing Development Services, supports expecting parents and families with children from pregnancy up to age 3. Through home visits, families receive practical support around nutrition, child development, and positive parent-child interactions, helping caregivers feel confident as they support and nurture healthy routines at their homes. For the past 25 years, HANDS has supported and empowered new parents to provide our youngest Kentuckians a healthy, safe, and supportive childhood to help them achieve their full potential. If you are an expecting mother in Kentucky, please check out the HANDS program at hands.ky.gov or by contacting your local health department. Some children may need a little extra support to thrive. That's where the Kentucky Early Intervention System, or KEYS, comes in. KEYS serves families of infants and toddlers with developmental delays or disabilities by providing their parents or primary caregivers with education and skill building so they can better support their children during the most critical years of growth. KEYS therapists visit families in their homes to help parents and caregivers feel more secure and to help them develop the skills needed to overcome challenges and obstacles unique to their child. If your child has a developmental delay or disability, please visit KEYS, that's KEIS.ky.gov, to see how KEYS may be able to help you. Nutrition also plays a vital role in early childhood development, and WIC, the Women, Infants, and Children program, helps make healthy choices more accessible. Through nutrition education, financial support for formula and healthy foods, breastfeeding support, and connections to community resources, WIC supports families in building strong, healthy foundations from the earliest years of life. To learn more, please check out wic.ky.gov or visit your local health department. Together, HANDS, KEYS, and WIC support the Our Healthy Kentucky Home. They support families in the everyday work of helping children eat well, move often, and stay connected. And through these small, powerful moments, shared meals, playful moments, and loving interactions, we help Kentucky's youngest children grow stronger today and thrive for a lifetime. To learn more about these programs and to learn more about healthy habits you can begin with your children today, please visit the Our Healthy Kentucky Home campaign website at ourhealthykyhome.ky.gov. Please join us in the Our Healthy Kentucky Home journey as we work together to ensure that every Kentuckian can achieve better health and reach their full potential. Governor?
Thank you to Dr. Stack. Those are three important programs. I believe WIC was first launched in Kentucky, so something that we're very proud of, a model that we helped create that now helps children all over the United States. I also want to thank the First Lady and again, encourage people not just to give blood while there's a shortage, but go out on Saturday, go to your local grocery store. Let's help these domestic violence shelters be ready when people come in, fleeing for their lives, maybe with just the clothes on their back. Let's make sure that we buy just a couple extra things when we're out there to provide for those shelters to have. Thank you to the Lieutenant Governor and to 4 great superintendents for being here today. I know about innovative things happening in all of your programs, and I'm very grateful. Actually, between the Lieutenant Governor and myself, we've got kids in 2 of the 4 programs, and a close friend's son with special needs in Woodford County receiving some really great services. So thank you all for being here. All right, finally today, I am naming our team Kentucky All-Star. He waited a long time for this. It's Tyler Childers. On Sunday, Tyler received his very first Grammy for Best Country Song Bitin' List from his most recent album, Snipe Hunter. He was also nominated in the categories of Country Album, Country Duo Group Performance, and Country Solo Performance. Since 2020, Tyler's been nominated for 11 Grammy nominations, but whoever votes on it voted wrong in a lot of those instances. But we are glad that he's brought his first one home. I'm proud to call Tyler a friend. He and his wife, Sonora May, are both Eastern Kentucky natives who make significant contributions to the Appalachian communities they live in. They've helped after natural disaster. They hold a big annual event to help with addiction recovery and more. This one's special to me because he played me the rough cut of this song before Bourbon and Beyond in 2024. And I remember him saying, "Andy, do you have a bitin' list?" And I said, "Tyler, I have no idea what you're talking about." So I did not have a bitin' list, but he has a Grammy, and we are really proud of him. So congratulations to Tyler, and thank you for representing Team Kentucky so well. All right, we've got one journalist in studio, 5 on the line. We'll start with Addie Miners.
Hey, Governor, I've got a couple for you, so that's all right. First off, we had a question. There was a death yesterday in Jefferson County that was announced due to the cold by the mayor. Was that included in that total?
The death announced by the mayor of Louisville is not included in our current total. We have a process through the Department of Public Health. All that information has to go through. It means likely it will be confirmed at some point, but not yet.
Fair enough. I have another question. The Kentucky Department of Corrections announced Vine is offline after an independent vendor caused false alerts to be issued
Yeah.
to the notification system. How are false alerts being prevented in the future? I know they're shut down for the next couple of days. And then does the state plan to update or upgrade Vine to a more reliable system?
So there was an issue with Vine where one of our contractors, who we pay to keep this system up and running, operating, and people not getting false notices, was doing an upgrade, did it wrong. Instead of conducting a test, actually sent these notices out to people. There will be consequences because people had to open that and see that. Now, thankfully, they're calling in and we're reaching out. No one who wasn't scheduled for release has been released, but we are taking steps to make sure that this does not happen again. I believe that it will be up and running this afternoon, but anyone can call DOC if someone was scheduled for a release during this period of probably 36 hours that there will be an outage. Not acceptable, and I'm committed to making sure, especially when we pay state dollars to somebody to do a task, and they do it wrong, and they do it in a way that actually causes concern amongst our people, that there are some repercussions.
And last one. So don't know if you've seen House Bill 377 or Senate Bill 88, but they both look to prevent utility companies from shutting off power during extreme heat, extreme cold. I know you were asked to issue a moratorium earlier this year, and you delegated some money to a fund to help pay for utilities. Just what are your thoughts on those two bills? They're bipartisan.
Yeah. I think that a governor should have the power through a state of emergency to prevent utility disconnections during the coldest times of the year, during ice storms or polar plunges, or during times of excessive heat. That's not currently in state law. The call on me was based on things we'd done in COVID. Whether or not we could do it. And I did not believe that was lawful. But I fully support the ability of either myself or a future governor in very rare times to be able to make sure that, again, people don't lose the heat they need or the cooling that could be the difference between life and death at the toughest of moments. All right, we'll go to James Pilcher, WKRC, on the line.
Good afternoon, Governor. The Democrats in the House today introduced 2 bills that would promote your universal pre-K and expand the current system. But this seems to be getting a hard no from Republicans in Frankfort, and the ones I've talked to here in Northern Kentucky say they haven't seen a plan and they don't know exactly how much it will cost in total. How do you respond to those criticisms? And just once again, why do you think this is so important for Kentucky?
So we've presented to certainly leadership in the House, select leadership in the House, as well as most members who would meet with our folks. Same was done in the Senate, one-on-one meetings describing how it would go. You've seen 2 bills filed by Democrats. I think you'll see some pre-K bills filed by Republicans in the near future. There does seem to be some pushback from some members of leadership, but rank and file Democrats and Republicans recognize that this isn't about whether the governor is a D or an R. It's about a 4-year-old right now not getting the services they need. I've heard some rumblings that people understand we need pre-K for all, but they're going to wait until I'm no longer governor. Are you really going to sacrifice 4-year-olds for the next several years? Are you really going to suggest that this giving me a win means these kids should take a loss? No, I think that there is significant momentum for it. I was down in Warren County yesterday, and we had virtually all of we had the mayor, we had the county judge, we had surrounding officials of all parties, more Republicans than Democrats, desperately wanting this. The number one education issue that polls among Republicans is pre-K. And so if people are pushing back on this, if they want to think electorally, they're going to hear about it in a primary or they're going to hear about it in a general. Why? Because that's what the people want. But I'd like to think in Kentucky we can be better than what we see in this country. We can push out the noise. We can say this isn't about D or R or who gets a win. It's about those 4-year-old children who need to get off to the best start. I mean, we're looking at models from Oklahoma and Alabama. Those aren't bastions of liberalism. I mean, these are states that are considered red states that have done this already. And the final thing I'd say, James, is at least one of these plans, which is just to increase where the poverty line is, the percentage of the poverty line about what kids can qualify. Just about everybody you're talking to voted for it under Matt Bevin. He ended up vetoing it, but it was almost a unanimous vote, where then a Republican Senate and a Republican House both said, we think pre-K for 4-year-olds and the expansion of it is important. No, I certainly don't think it's dead in the water. I was told that about medical marijuana. I was told that about sports betting. I was told that about other bills, and we got them all over the finish line. But in the end, my job's just to fight for what's right, and it is right for every 4-year-old to get off to a good start. Tom Latek, Kentucky Today.
Thank you, Governor. Good afternoon to you. I've got 2. They're quick ones. One is your thought on the legislation that would allow the state to pay SNAP benefits during a federal government shutdown. And the second one would be your thoughts on President Trump's proposal to nationalize elections, taking them away from the states.
Yeah, I just put out a statement with all of our Democratic governors that respond to these comments. Now, Donald Trump, when he first said it, didn't say the federal government. He said Republicans should take over elections in a certain number of states. That should show you where he's coming from, his intent, and how illegal and unlawful what he's calling for is. The Constitution is pretty clear. Elections fall to the state. He made a promise, I think with a hand on a Bible, that he would uphold the U.S. Constitution, and he needs to do so. Thankfully, we're hearing people from all over the political spectrum saying absolutely not. But for a president that whines about an election that he lost, that has been proven to have been fair, to now be openly talking about rigging the next one, that's pretty concerning. The legislation that would allow us to pay SNAP benefits, I'd take any flexibility. But depending on how long a government shutdown is, that could easily overwhelm a state or our state pretty quickly, but certainly I would sign something that gives that flexibility if it came to my desk. What we really need is a bill in the U.S. Congress that passes that says SNAP is always funded during a shutdown. And by the way, it always has been funded until Donald Trump. He is the very first U.S. president that during a shutdown has refused to fund SNAP. He is the one and only. It was wrong. It's still wrong. And surely anybody else would have better judgment. Karen Czar.
Good afternoon, Governor. Thank you. My first question is the Transportation Department currently still helping in Fayette County, or has that window closed? And then I know it's very early on in the medical marijuana program, but when will other Kentuckians, other cultivators, everything within the industry be allowed to file for more contracts or more licenses, rather? Thank you.
So more licenses in medical marijuana would take an expansion of the conditions and or more people signing up and having an underlying condition than our data suggests. So we set the number of licenses based on the conditions times the number of people that we believe have them, trying to make sure we don't do what happened with hemp. The Department of Agriculture, before this agriculture commissioner, opened up those licenses. It almost bankrupted a number of farmers around the state. We wanted to make sure that we set something up that would be successful for the people that invested in it, and that's right-sized. So one of two things have to happen for us to open up more licenses. That's expanding the number of conditions and or there being more people with the current underlying conditions. As to Lexington, I think we're all disappointed by the city's response to this ice and snow event. This is second one in a row that we should have seen better results, and I think the mayor has said that and has taken responsibility. We helped and have helped, and then we're told for a period of time that our help wasn't needed. We have asked, and it has been accepted to help some more. Now, what we're also going to do is provide any guidance that's requested or that we can offer to update and change Lexington's snow and ice removal plan. I mean, after two times like this where it's taken them longer than similar or even smaller cities to get their roads clean, we simply have to do better. So you will see KYTC trucks back in Lexington trying to speed this thing up. Brian Gilbert.
Thank you, Governor. My question was going to be similar to Karen's regarding the 9 days in a row students have been out of school in Fayette County. Just in addition, have you spoken personally with Mayor Gordon about this and working together with coordinating resources or improving the response in the future?
I haven't talked to Mayor Gordon yet. Our transportation cabinet's communicating directly with Lexington's road crews. Happy to talk to the mayor. I mean, you look at our interstates and the good shape that they're in, the state roads that we work and the good shape that they're in. Part of it is we did, I believe, some pre-treatment that Lexington did not do and should probably do, but we're willing to share any and all of the practices that had our state roads up and active in about a 2-day period. So no, I mean, the conditions of the road in Lexington are unacceptable. They need to be better, but we want to work constructively with Lexington that, from everything I'm hearing, wants to do better, but it can't take a third event to get there. Isaiah Kim Martinez.
Hi, Governor. I just had a question about Blue Oval SK. I know they'll be shutting their doors here pretty soon. Can you say what conversations you recently had with Ford officials about their takeover? And is it understood that they're going to be given more leeway to meet the conditions of that massive loan, the $250 million?
So I still have confidence that the project originally called Blue Oval SK, which will now be Ford, and their battery storage business will be a success. This is an industry where our current manufacturers, or our current announced manufacturers, have orders already that would go years into the future. With all of the energy that's going to be needed for data centers, with the fact that we need a better grid out there, with the need for solar farms and others to be able to store that energy and push it out at the right time, there is a huge amount of demand for energy storage batteries. So we're talking with Ford right now about their needs and their plans. My belief is that we are going to come to a good place where we don't change any of the conditions for receiving that $250 million loan, other than potentially providing a little more time in exchange for an additional $2 billion invested in the project, which seems pretty reasonable. A $5.8 billion project would become a $7.8 billion project. They would push to create as many of those 5,000 jobs as possible, and understanding that you probably have to return, or you would have to return, part of that loan for the ones that you don't hit. But given that they agreed to come in and say, we'll take Kentucky, we want to make sure that we are working with them on a plan to where they can make a real run at hitting these marks. Remember, even what they're talking about now would still be, even the 2,100 jobs, and I think there's going to be many more than that, would be the largest single jobs announcement in our history. But we're going to make sure that Kentucky gets a fair deal. I'm personally vested in this. And let me just say, the workers, the 1,600 workers that because of Donald Trump's big, ugly bill upending the EV market, that otherwise had secure employment, that are losing it, we are there for them, working directly with them. We just held a job fair that had 677 attendees. It had 62 employers. They conducted 923 interviews during that day alone. 15 job offers were made on the spot. 557 individuals are scheduled for a follow-up for an employer. So really proud of our Education and Labor Cabinet, the local folks, economic development, that are all working together. My number one duty, my number one focus is to make sure that every one of those 1,600 workers that immediately wants to go to work for somebody else can. And the employers, I would say, were really excited. You know, these are folks that have received incredible skills training and that are sought after in all these other industries. So we're going to land this plane with Ford. Remember, they've just invested $2 billion in LAP. They've invested billions more over time in the truck plant. They made another investment in Kentucky to create more jobs. I mean, this is Ford country, and we're excited that Ford is continuing to invest in us and saying we will now have a $7.8 billion investment in the Commonwealth. All right, thanks everybody for joining us. We almost went a full hour again. It's been a while. We'll see you, are we next week? Next Thursday at 1:30.
My cabinet used to feel like a pharmacy explosion, but it turns out all those pills were sabotaging my health. Let me explain. Big supplement brands don't want you healthy, they want you addicted. They